I'm here at Deepdale Preston, not only the home ground for Preston North End Football Club, but the current site for the National Football Museum.
But after being open here for 9 years, the people of Preston are faced by the museum's decision to move to the Yates in Manchester. I spoke to the Lib Dem councillor Mark Jewell of Preston, who spoke of his disappointment towards the recent decision.
I think total disappointment from Preston. There's certainly a great deal of disappointment from my own point of view, having campaigned very strongly. The bid that has been put forward by the Lancashire bid does secure the future of the National Football Museum here in Preston.
This funding package was put together by Lancashire County Council, Preston County Council and UCLAN to keep the museum open as a split-second site, if not until after the World Cup this summer.
At the end of the day, you have to ask yourself, what is the point of our museums? You know, why do we hold this cultural heritage? And there is a unique stake to keep the National Football Museum in Preston because of its history, because of the fantastic record of the Lily Whites, doing the double in the first couple of seasons of the Professional Football League. So is it around that, or is it around who's got the money and it follows the money? Because if you follow that argument logically, there may be some time in the future when the Urbis site isn't viable, and so then where does it go? And I think there has to be some government, there has to be some national support in our heritage, in where our museums are, where they're located, and I think the government has to look towards the way they fund our national, which suggests a national interest, our national museums.
The decision to move the museum has angered many. On the other hand, many people believe that moving the museum to a tourist hotspot such as Manchester will open up the museum to a much wider audience.
But should all of our major attractions be moved to the bigger cities, purely on the basis of footfall and the economies of scale? On visiting the Urbis, it seems they also believe a two-site option wouldn't benefit the museum.
Don't you think that a smaller city such as Preston would benefit more from having such an attraction?
That's quite a difficult question to answer because of the way that the decision was taken and the whole of the process in terms of it coming to Manchester. Because I know it's been portrayed quite a lot, almost Manchester kind of stealing the museum from Preston, when really that kind of wasn't the case. Preston was struggling to keep the museum open, didn't have enough funds, so they approached Manchester. To me, it kind of doesn't really make sense to have two different sites that would still be the National Football Museum. I think it'd be confusing for customers who might come to see a particular object and might not know which museum it's housed, and it's confusing for the brand if there's two of them, which is the National Football Museum.
I took to the streets of Manchester to ask people how they felt about the move.
I don't think that you just shove everything in the big city just because it happens to be Manchester. I mean, I like Manchester, but why not leave it in Preston?
I think anything that helps those things to be seen and makes the public more aware of their own environment is a good thing.
It seems that despite all the hard work of campaigners and supporters, Preston just might have lost its main tourist attraction. This is Jason Yates for Salford News.